done stepped in the game? At point blank range, who done stepped in the game? At point blank range, who done stepped in the game? Stepped in the game, stepped in the game.
So I think it's time to reset. I've been kind of quiet for a while, and I've let a lot of people do a lot of the tech talking on the internet and let them do what they will. But at some point, the ignorance has got to stop. We'll start basically with just what the definition of journalism is, and that's finding the truth and getting down to the bottom of things. So yesterday there was a announcement going around the web, and of course gaming websites, they don't read worth a damn, so they just regurgitate whatever they can find. There was an article from Wall Street Journal talking about that Nintendo is planning to release 64 gig cards, which was never announced anywhere. The highest capacity that was ever announced was 32 gigs, and that this was a talk towards Nintendo and I guess whoever the customer is going to be, i.e. a third party that's going to buy it from them, and there was somewhat of a disappointment. Well, none of those other gaming articles or tech articles even got down to the bottom of the information. It just said Wall Street Journal came up with this article, and therefore it's fact, and that's what's in the headline, instead of stating what this actually is, and it's a rumor. And we all know that a lot of times rumors end up being true, but in this case right now it's not. And I guess the problem I have is that everybody's already assumed that this is what happened. And so, just a cursory glance at the actual information and the wording will let you know that right now it's kind of sketchy. When you just say the people that are in the know or people that are familiar with the matter, that basically means either this person doesn't have a source and they're giving a general opinion, or they do have a source and they're not supposed to get that information. So Takahashi, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I guess Mochizuki, I guess is how you would pronounce it or whatever. So he basically everything that he's the writer of this article for the Wall Street Journal, and everything that he reported there, he echoed on his Twitter account, and he got a couple of questions, and people basically said, why couldn't you say more? And his thing was, I can't say anything besides there was disappointment, as they may need to, and there's a little bit of English here, I guess, reset release timing of the carts or whatever, or release timing of their versions of games if they're going to plan to use these carts. So, of course, I'm going to go and I'm going to drill down even more and probably ask questions that are not going to be answered. And I just asked what kept them from talking. Either it was an NDA or a broken NDA told in confidence. And if it is a broken NDA told in confidence, how the hell does this help that you just leaked the story to the entire world? So now that every major gaming publication is talking about this, whoever you leak this to, they're probably not going to trust you with that information again, or they're eventually going to be found out. Is, hey, who knows this Takahashi guy? Who knows him in private? Okay, you're all fired, type deal. So it's just weird that just because it's the Wall Street Journal, I'm sorry, but the Wall Street Journal, that's not the first place I go for any type of tech or insider information with regards to anything. I know this guy probably is either currently living in Japan or has some type of dual citizenship or whatever, and he's their correspondent. But he doesn't necessarily work for a company that screams, "Hey, pay attention to me" when it comes to foreign private game company information. So I guess that's more of the issue, because of course every gaming website, every blogger, every person that's struggling to get that YouTube money. This is happening, guys, and because there's a NAND flash shortage, that's why Nintendo has the smaller carts and they can't get the bigger carts right now, and they were going to get 64. No. Nintendo made a deal with Macronix as far back as 1999, and they've been working with them ever since, be it with the DS, 3DS, or what have you, going as far back as the GameCube, DSP, and the memory for it as well. So I guess more of the issue is that people have taken this recent NAND shortage that I guess most will attribute to Apple being a part of, because they're buying all of the RAM for everybody or whatnot between them and Google for their different phones and Samsung, and that's attributing to the Switch shortage. Well, the reason it was attributed to the Switch shortage and not the games, if you notice, was because of the NAND flash memory that is the main storage device for the Nintendo Switch itself, the 32 gigs in the actual system. The game cards themselves are a custom type of ROM called Extra ROM that Macronix has made, both in 45 nanometer and now 32 nanometer varieties, and it's completely different from any other type of NAND out there. Number one, it doesn't need a memory controller, and it works completely different. You read directly off the card, and everything goes directly to memory, and the sequential reads are substantially greater than anything that NAND or any type of rotating hard disk could ever attribute to. So these are the type of things that, this is the reason why Nintendo went with them, and they decided now it's time to go back to carts, because the capacity matches a Blu-ray, and it could possibly and pretty quickly exceed a Blu-ray double A. And not only that, but obviously it's going to read way faster than both of those, and you don't have to worry about a large disk drive to carry your game anymore. That's the way going forward. They know that, and that's why they decided to do this. So no, that type of ROM isn't NAND flash. It's a specific custom type of ROM that Macronix makes for their customers, particularly custom ASICs and things like that, or stereos and MP3 players and whatever customer they have that, you know, whoever comes to them, Panasonic or whoever comes to them to build a custom device, that type of logic goes directly on that board, and that's who they go to purchase it from. Different type of thing is read-only memory. There's no writes going to it at all, and all the chip data is directly dedicated to, hey, read me off of this directly into memory as fast as humanly possible. What other people don't understand with that is, by you confusing the two, you're creating more misinformation than information. And yes, while the two are related type memories by being non-volatile memory, the similarities end as soon as you say, hey, both of these pieces of data exist when you turn the machine off. The same exists of punch cards and pen and paper. You can't call them the same thing just because they have the same common description. And again, that's where, you know, people take common words and Google search them and kind of hope that they're the same when they're really not. You have to understand the technology and understand what the fuck you're searching for before you start trying to, I don't know, educate other people. You know, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about is, you know, those two things aren't the same. I don't know why people were trying to say that the shortage or the non-64 gig was because of a NAND shortage. But that just isn't the case, and it won't ever be, because there's no NAND in those cards. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And for those that the few people on social media and wherever that think I don't know what I'm talking about, how about you stop clinging to your favorite YouTuber that you think is a tech journalist, and won't you ask them what their certifications are? Do you play games to have fun or to impress other people?
Fucking uppercut.